Hello, this is Christopher Kenworthy with Mastering Color Grading in After Effects, and we're going to look at a creative way of using secondaries to correct a problem that's been created by some other creative work. So if I look at this shot of the summer trees and say that I want to make it look more autumnal, I would probably go into the curves and go to the HSL tab, grab the green just here and drag that down until that goes a nice orangey color. I'll probably lift this up over there so that we're not selecting too much. I might want to saturate that reddish area a little more, and that's great. But if you look at the source, I'll do a split source here, you can see that her skin has changed color quite considerably. It's gone a little bit redder. So that's result, that's source. We don't want that. If this is meant to look autumnal, she should look a little bluer, if anything. So now I'll go to the secondary tab and we'll select her skin. I'm doing this after I've made that first change rather than before, because it's how her skin looks after I've changed those tree colors that really counts. I'm going to click on Show Preview, and then I'm going to bring the chroma tolerance right down and push the luma tolerance up until I've selected most of her face. You can see that I'm missing this point here on the tip of her finger, and I've selected part of the tree. So it could be that my samples are not very representative. I'm going to try that again. Get a real range of colors there from her fingertip, from her lip, from the darker area of the cheek, and from the whitey bluey area under her eye. That's a large range of colors. If we look at Show Preview, if I push the luma up to capture the face, I've also managed to get some of the trees in the background, which I don't want. So I'll drop the chroma, and we've nearly got that right there. I'll just push the luma up some more. Now it's not perfect, I've not got her entire face, but if I switch off Show Preview, this area here under her eye, I possibly don't need, because that's already looking quite blue. I'm only selecting it to try and get good coverage of her face. So I have two options here. I could go in to sample 4 and resample it and get a different area of her face, or I can just soften this and say that I'm happy with it. So I'm going to retake that sample. I'm going to turn off Show Preview, and instead of going for the area under her eye, I'll get this part of her nose. The colors here now all look quite similar, but that means I'm selecting the reddish part of her face and nothing else. So if you look at that, it's quite soft. It's only the part that we want to deal with. I might soften it a little more. I'm getting some of the tree in the background there, but I'm not going to worry about that too much. We'll just see if it affects things when I change it. I'm just going to drag the saturation down a little and maybe offset the hue just the tiniest amount. Now you can see there that's much closer to the skin tone she had originally, so that's a pretty good result. Even though I didn't perfectly capture the whole face, I've managed to get the result I want. I could even go to the hue offset wheel now and drag this down towards blue to make her face look slightly colder if I want that autumnal look. I actually think that's a bit too strong because the blue cast on here is already quite good. So sometimes when you're working, as happened here with the curves, you create a problem. We got a red face, and a secondary is used just to remove that. The secondary correction isn't the most creative part of this, but it allows you to do something really creative in the shot and then correct for any mistakes that come about as a result. When you're making extreme changes to shots, you'll often get artifacts that you don't want, colors that shouldn't be there, and so you can use the secondaries in color finesse to remove them. Don't think that just because the work you're doing is having a bad effect on the footage that it has to be kept that way. You can go into the secondaries and remove any color cast you want, and as you can see here, that shot works really quite well now. You'd never know it wasn't shot in autumn.